This is Boxing Tickets NA, and we're joined with Padraig McCrory. How are you, Paddy?
Very good, Morty.
Fantastic. So you're just after your Saturday session here in Anderson Boxing. I've obviously got to have a wee look around today, and things are looking good.
Yeah. Dan has a class set up here, and it's only going to get better. Hopefully, very soon he's up and running. But it's good. It's good. It'll be good when the restrictions are lifted and it's all finished.
Fantastic. And we'll sort of apologise to anybody in advance for sort of working on the background, but obviously it's the way things are at the moment. Work has to get done when it can get done. So we last spoke to you 13th of January, pretty much just less than 2 months ago now. And probably at that stage you were probably a bit frustrated that there was no sort of pending sort of fight news. I think you were sort of looking at May, June sort of time, as everything is not going to fight. Was it obviously a case then that you'd just been torturing Jamie flat out to try and get you out? Yeah,
so obviously all shows were cancelled in January, so I was hoping to get out around end of February or March, but then when everything was put back, it meant any show scheduled in January was then rescheduled. And then it was totally up in the air. I didn't know what was happening. So my last fight was September, so it was drifting nearly into like 6 months, and I just wanted to get out again. So yeah, I was on with Jamie. Jamie says, be patient and something will come, and now we're here.
Fantastic, and as I say, it's more the fact sometimes that just keeping yourself ready.
Yeah.
Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, you were pretty much nearly close to a dream sort of fight. Tell me what happened. Obviously, you'd agreed to fight David Lemieux.
Yeah. So about 4 or 5 days before that, I was called about a potential fighting Germain Brown, and I accepted it, but there was a few terms that I wanted to change. So Jimmy came back to me 2 days later and says, "Listen, that's all sorted. But how does this sound?" And I was like, "What?" And he says, "I've been asked to have anybody for David Lemieux, and I put your name forward." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "No, like do you want to fight David Lemieux?" And I says, "If I can get the fight sorted, let's go." And he says, "Right." So he hung up, he phoned back and says, "Listen, they're happy with that fight, they want the fight. X-Man said, amount, date, everything." And I was like, "Done, sweet. So let's get it sorted." He says, "Right, okay." Text me later on saying, "Listen, we're happy with it, they're happy with it, they just need to bring it to a broadcaster." So I says, "Sweet." Next day, I was sitting like thinking I was fighting David Lemieux, and they phone back and says, or then Jimmy phone says, "Listen, I've been in contact. They've said that they're really sorry, but the broadcaster just said no." And that was it. So, but I had the Brown fight sorted anyway. So it wasn't as if you're not fighting, I don't know when you're fighting. So it was like, okay, the move's not happening. Now it's Brown again.
It's obviously, I know it's like anything, sometimes you sort of have to try and stay positive, but when you're going to be fighting, when obviously it's agreed and everything else, you're going to be fighting a former world champion, and he's so high up the rankings and stuff as well, you're sort of going, what side of the bed they get up this morning, I need to make sure it's the same every day. You probably just couldn't believe it's sort of how things could happen so quickly.
Yeah, it's strange because a couple of days before I was thinking about Frampton at Windsor, and he fought, it was Jackson.
Yeah.
And I always think, I checked my I think it was my world ranking, and it was 91. And I was like, I was about the same position as Jackson when he fought Frampton, and I was thinking, I would love to get a chance to have a big fight like that. And then 2 or 3 days later, it was like, oh, David Lemieux, and I was like, freak me, it's crazy. But if I keep winning, these things are going to happen.
And I guess sometimes it probably shows, probably the Canadian broadcaster they probably haven't watched enough of UK boxing. They not obviously notice who you are. Like you had a Nicolas Cage style job, 72nd job, your last fight, and who forgets that fight in the Devonish? If that fight was on TV, they'd probably be still saying how good a stoppage it was.
Yeah. I still feel like I'm like low level, British level, but I don't know. People think that I'm further on, so it wasn't really like I kind of understood what they were saying, but then I'm probably being a bit harsh on themselves as well. But yeah, I seen the opponent that they got in, and I don't see how that can sell more than me being 11-0 with some massive knockouts.
And I guess obviously, as I say, it shows the sort of person you are sometimes, Paddy, is you're not overconfident. Obviously, you know, as anything shown in boxing recently, that nothing's a forgiven thing. So when you sort of sometimes play down your talent, you're not overselling yourself to the public and going, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
You're just happy to just, you know, being a big fan of the boxing stuff as well. You know that you don't want to say, oh, I'm going to be a world champion, blah blah blah, this, that or the other, because you know it's going to happen when it happens, and you're keeping your feet grounded.
I could probably add a bit more, like that sort of like bring myself up a wee bit, just to get more sort of like people talk about me. But it's just not me. It's not what I do. If I keep winning, I think that's the best way to make noise.
Yeah. Silence the sort of doubters that think that you're not potentially ready for them sort of fights. Like you're ranked in the top 100 in the world now, so you know, when you look at it and there's 15 people ranked in each governing body, you're not far off. You know, it's probably just getting one of the European belts to get yourself world ranked. Yeah. You know, that's how quickly things can change.
Yeah, I think I'm very close. Very close. Probably one fight away from getting a seriously big fight. I listened to Irish Boxing Club. They had a podcast the other day, and they were saying that the winner of this should fight the winner of Hutchinson and Clarke. That could potentially happen. I don't know. Well, Hutchinson, he's young and he's very ambitious. He's a very good fighter. He'd probably look to move on. Mm-hmm. If I beat Brown, I think I'm next tonight.
Yep, and obviously, as I say, with Hutchinson Clarke there, obviously, you know, the winner could just vacate pretty much straight away and move on to European honours, and and I think from the British Boxing Board circulars, they sort of haven't mentioned anything in an interim for obviously the people to face off for the winner, so things can move very quickly. I sort of keep looking back to the Luke Keeler reference, obviously before he fought Conrad Cummins, stayed a draw in the Devonish, and you fought on that card as well. And obviously how quickly things changed for him from winning the European belt to the next thing. Then he was fighting Andrade last year, and it's sort of, I think people forgot sometimes that Keeler fought for world title last year because he hasn't sort of been seen since, but it just shows how quickly things can change. You know. So looking a wee bit obviously on your opponent Germain Brown, what do you know of him?
I know he had a good win in his last fight against an ex-interim world champion. I watched bits of him, and he's a decent fighter. I think he's a good fighter. And I see people are speaking. I think like the circles around London all speak like really well of him. So I know I'm in for a good fight.
And he's 9-3 himself as well. So you know both these are obviously putting your unbeaten records on the line. He's trained by Adam. He's in Adam Booth's stable, isn't he?
He's in that stable, but he's not part of Adam Booth's team. I think his coach is Adam Martin. Adam Martin. So, but yeah, like it's the same circles.
Have you been sort of trying to do the sneaky backdoor thing and getting Jamie, or obviously messaging Mick saying, you know, what's his weaknesses?
No.
Just keeping it fair.
Yeah. Listen. If I'm good enough to beat him, I beat him on the night. Even if I know anything about him, it wouldn't matter.
I guess sometimes the less you know about them, the better. Because if you know somebody's weakness and you just go looking for that, it can end up being their strength. You know, if they know what the weakness is as well. And your fight's an 8-rounder. Probably it's a bit. It's probably disappointing. Obviously, both these are putting your unbeaten records on the line and no belt on the line.
Yeah. This is definitely a fight that could have been for a decent title. I think I've had a couple of fights like that actually. And after Alison win, I definitely thought that I was getting a title shot next. But I was up for this, and I'm very happy to take it.
Keeps you busy, obviously, in the meantime as well. You know, say if you're sitting in your hands, sort of waiting for a dream sort of fight or a dream opponent, sometimes might not happen. So keeping yourself busy in the meantime, which is obviously important as well. So you're less than 2 weeks out now. Obviously, from obviously you're fighting the 19th. How's obviously been camping going for you? You know, I think in saying you've been having a different few sparring partners this time around.
Camp's been good. I kind of knew from last time we spoke that I'd be fighting in the near future, so I've been training. I've been very consistent with Dan and D. Sparring going well. Obviously, we have Lewis out next week, who is he's a welterweight, but he's a big welterweight, and he's good to spar. And Owen's out on the 20th, and then Anthony, who's a light middleweight. So we've been doing a lot of like in-house spar, but also I've done a few rounds with Connor Coyle, who's 12-0, and Tony Browne, who's 3-0,
Yeah.
but was a very good amateur. And I think we're going to finish up camp with some rounds with Browne.
Yeah, fantastic. So that'll be obviously, you know, in this coming week, and obviously Tony Browne himself sort of had a decent fight announced there for the end of this month as well. He's fighting a former world champion.
Yeah, I seen that. The guy's obviously on a bit of a losing streak at the minute, but it's hard to look past like what he's done in the past, and Tony's only 3-0, so it's a big step up.
Definitely is, and I think he's not in the rush to sort of sit back and obviously just let things dwindle on as normal. He just wants to get out there, and I think he said, you know, within the next 2 years he wants to be European level, and in 5 years he wants to be world champion. So he just doesn't want to mess about.
From what I hear, his last fight that was called off, he had agreed to fight a decent opponent as well. So he's definitely not hanging about.
Yep, definitely, that's the main thing. Obviously, you know, having, you know, people like Owen and Lewis and stuff in camp, particularly probably more so Lewis, more people would know of. But obviously he's a big punching welterweight as well, so obviously it's really good sparring to have. You know, seems to be something that's ingrained in the stable. You know, you've obviously Connor Coyle in there as well. He obviously seems to be a bit of a knockout artist. So it seems to be something within the water in Glen. It's producing this power sort of.
Yeah, no, look, Lewis has always had power, like from an amateur, and he's sharp as a razor. So if you make a mistake against him in sparring, then you pay. Connor Coyle is about 10 kilo, and he punches like a heavyweight. And Owen's dropping down in weight, and he's getting better every fight, and he definitely has the power to get a couple of stoppages on his record.
And obviously he's fighting the day after you, so obviously, you know, probably be tuning in online to catch up with his fight and stuff as well.
Yeah, of course.
We sort of mentioned obviously one super middleweight fight coming up, and obviously Hutchinson and Clarke, but I want to obviously get your thoughts on Canelo and Saunders being made for the 8th of May.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that fight?
I think it's a massive fight, massive fight. Saunders is going to bring something completely different to what maybe Smith and Fielding brought, the two previous British fighters. Saunders is a real slick southpaw, but for me, Canelo is a level above everybody. But I'll be rooting for Billy Saunders. It's tough. It's a real hard task.
And I think obviously I looked at Canelo's record yesterday, and you know, 37 KOs. He's more stoppage ones than Saunders has had fights.
He's fighting from he's 15, and he's constantly getting better. He's a freaking nature. And he's a fighter like I watch and try and learn off as well. Obviously, like we're different sizes and stuff, but things he does is like scary.
His confidence levels, you know, I think I was saying to somebody the other day, his confidence levels are that supreme now that he just doesn't care on who he's fighting. He's just going to walk straight through them.
No.
You know, there's no taking it easy in the first round to sort of gauge them out. No. You know, it just seems to be whatever Renusso seems to have done with him now, that it's just like it's a different level, and it's just like get them out here as quick as possible.
I think there's only one super middleweight in the world that can beat him, and it's the Hammer.
The Hammer is the only one that's going to get him. I sort of an inkling of probably think that Caleb Plant probably the closest thing to him, but
I like Caleb Plant.
I don't think Caleb Plant's been tested enough to that level. He's a world champion, obviously, and he's a good backstory. You know, he's obviously tragically lost his child and stuff as well, but you know, it's a sort of fight, and it looks like it'll end up being the fight for all the belts.
Yeah.
You know, so what a fight you sort of end up super middleweight.
I really like Plant. Plant's he's technically very good. He's tough. But as you say, Canelo's fought Glockton a couple of times. He's fought Mayweather at a very young age. And the caliber of fighters that he's fought is insane.
He's definitely very crazy on. Sort of want to get your thoughts on Sean McComb's defeat the other week. The reason I sort of want to do this is, you know, I know you posted a bit about it yourself, and in the social media slating that boxers are getting, you know, boxers putting their undefeated records on the line. And obviously sometimes, you know, for whatever reason, obviously a fight doesn't go the way, and I think Sean had said that he wanted to live to fight another day, he's a young family and things like that. Just wanted to get your sort of thoughts on the sort of social media aspect of, you know, when a fighter doesn't do what fans seem to expect him to do.
Yeah, well, at first I was really surprised. When I seen it, I thought something was going wrong. I thought it was like a hand injury or something. But I spoke to Sean after, and he said that he was just very frustrated. Things weren't going right, and he wanted to live to fight another day. And I have no qualms with that. Sean's a super talented fighter. He's always fought at the best levels. And the slating, especially on Twitter's terrible for it. The slating that you get for things like this is insane. It's crazy. People don't understand that like boxers are like just normal people and they have feelings. So and there's all this sort of like low talk reasoning, like be kind, and then like social media's coming down with like loads of trolls. It'll probably help me one day. I don't know. Hopefully not. But I like it's like for me like it's really bad taste.
There's no sort of happy medium within it. You know, if like Tommy Fury obviously getting slated for fighting somebody at 0-9, but if you fought somebody at a decent level and lost, he then gets to the other spectrum. So you can't sort of win. Obviously we're 4 weeks out as well from here in Frampton. Obviously I know you're a massive Frampton fan, as we've spoke about before in interviews, and the pictures and when you're supposed to be making your second fight and go to the Aries card. Just wanted to sort of get your thoughts on that fight.
Yeah, massive fight, and I can't wait for it. Thankfully, my fights before, so I can kind of relax and watch the fight. I'll be rooting for Frampton. I think he can win. I just hope this date is the final date. It's obviously had it's been scheduled for a couple of different times and it's fell through, but it's a massive fight, and I already think Frampton's probably the best in Irish history, but this will cement it. And
then obviously a potential, one final farewell sort of gig in Windsor Park as well. You'll definitely be named down for that.
Oh, very good.
I know in Windsor Park in the Jackson card you were sort of running about with a few vodkas or a few beers, and this time you want to be
very sure. I was torturing a couple of the boys from the MDK team to try and get me on the card, but it was full. And obviously I get on the field show after that. So
British title end of the year, Windsor Park, why not?
Yeah, it'd be massive.
You looking forward to going back into the bubble? A few days away from the wife and the kids.
I really miss them. But sometimes from the fight, it's good to get time to yourself and like weighing down. For me, I usually like the weigh-in and like the whole buzz of fight week and the press conference and stuff. But yeah, the bubble's different, and it'll give me time to weigh down.
And obviously, Faker will be tuned into TV saying they're potty fighting again.
Yeah. He's saying I was like a different person, but now he's old enough and he knows. And he just says that I always says, "Daddy dishes the man, knocks him down." So let's hope it happens again.
I've been seeing your videos as well. Obviously, I've been punching the bag. He's definitely a wee bull, and he's I think any of the kids coming through in the schools are going to have to watch, because if he's like his father, he's been knocking them out.
Clean out.
Obviously, just want to leave you on one sort of final one, but sort of not looking ahead too much from Germain Brown. But obviously, with boxing potentially returning June or July, fingers crossed in Belfast. I guess obviously the plan afterwards is to stay as busy as possible.
Yeah. There was a stage where I was thinking I potentially couldn't fight like in front of the fans again, because COVID was just going on for so long. And I'm 32, so you never know. I still feel like I've loads of time left in the game, but that can change overnight. This will be my second fight under Dan, and with the way things fell, Dan still hadn't got a chance to be in my corner. So it'd be great to get a home fight in front of the fans and Dan in the corner working as a team.
Yep, fantastic. Well, look, Paddy, obviously we'll let you go. Obviously, I know it's less than 2 weeks away before your fight. Obviously, spend as much time with the family before you go and make it 12-0.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, we'll catch up again soon.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.